now.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Joining me now is mayoral candidates for the Auckland Supercity, Len Brown, to talk about how to power the Supercity into the future. Hello to you, Len.
Yeah, good morning, Wammo. Happy New Year, mate.
Happy New Year to you as well. Good start to 2010 so far?
Awesome. Lots of sun, lots of surf, lots of swimming, plenty of good family time. Just been a great summer so far.
Apart from the strange power cut that happened earlier on in Auckland this week.
Yep. No, a bit of part of the summer disease of Auckland, really. And, it's been a long process to upgrade our present power requirements. There's a major multi-billion-dollar effort going in. Big changes, bringing through a 400 MV upgrade, coming all the way up through Waikato. We know what the problems have been. It's pretty obvious that one or two farmers don't want it.
Yeah.
And
but that's really a side issue, really, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Look, we will argue about that. What I'm saying basically is, hey, look, that's just not going to achieve anything to be involved in a shouting match. Basically, the resource consents are in place. Money's in place, the government's committed, Transpower committed, we've got to be committed to this upgrade from the south, so let's just get on with that job, but also look out at the future.
Yes.
And
that's what I want to talk about.
How do we actually put in place an alternate to the single stuff coming from the south?
That's what I want to talk about, because let's look 20, 50, 100 years down the line, because there's not many politicians who can look further than the 3-year term or whatever that they're in for. Let's look at how you think Auckland City should be powered into the future.
Well, the Auckland Council provides a pretty extraordinary opportunity to really take that vision and go. There are 3 or 4 options as we've got on one when we're talking about alternates and extra contributions to our power supply and the grid. One that we already have in place, and that is within our own landfills. We've got 2 landfills in Greenmount and Whitford and Manukau that we have cogeneration plants operating in. They draw the methane off the landfill and convert it to gas and add it to convert it to power and add it to the national grid. The information that I have suggests that something like a third of the houses of Manukau could be powered up by the electricity generated by that gas that comes off the landfill.
That's significant.
It's extraordinary. Well, you've got the same sort of major landfill operation in Redvale, and it's rubbish to energy type option, which is and could even be much more efficient and significant in terms of its contribution to our grid requirements.
And being able to power ourselves off our own rubbish has got to be a plus.
Oh, look, absolutely. Now there's other technology that's used overseas around incineration that even further extends that and takes in the entire waste stream that presently goes to Mangere, and that's treated there. But that's not technology that I'm sort of pursuing at this point in time. But what I am saying is that there are innovations and options available that are there for us to consider over the next sort of 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
What about ways of making the citizens of Auckland City more independent as well? I'm thinking about solar energy on roofs, that kind of thing.
There are 3 other options that we're looking at very seriously at the moment. In fact, 2 of them have resource management applications before the appropriate bodies, most of the ARC in Auckland City and North Shore, for consideration. The wind farming operation or option is particularly interesting. It's an operation, as we know, around the globe and also in New Zealand, down and around Wellington.
Yeah.
It can give rise to some difficulties in terms of consenting and people's view of either the physical or noise impact on them. But there's consideration being given to tapping into the awesome southwesters that come off the Manukau Heads and out through Kaipara. For the potential of wind farming out there, and I think that could give rise to an extraordinary alternative for sustainable energy. Secondly, we have got the possibility of farming the sea, tidal currents and estuary currents, and there's presently an application being considered for consenting in Kaipara, in the Kaipara Harbour. And that basically takes into consideration and harnesses the energy that you can generate from wave movement. Now, of course, we're an island nation, being buffeted by the Pacific and the Tasman, and so there is some real potential in that, again, of private investment. Not a lot of this involves either local government or central government investment. It's all about private investment and people taking the opportunity of generating significant profits, but contributing huge amounts of energy into our national requirements and our regional requirements.
Right, because that really was going to be my next question. Sort of, how much power would a Supercity council have to implement these things, or would you just guide private firms into these areas?
Well, I think a lot of it is about working as a catalyst to ensure private investment. I mean, we see extraordinary investment by central and local government into economic development to act as a catalyst, as a lever. I guess if you want a recent example, the government's and our local government's decisions to look at serious investment in Queen's Wharf is an opportunity to generate a potential attractor for tourism. And so what you're doing there is you're putting your stake in the ground. You're saying we can invest as a lever to really encourage a multiple effect from private investors to get in behind it. Second option and a second example is the Newland rail upgrade. Massive amount of investment going in there from the local council, from Waitakere, who've got $200 million worth of potential investment to match on track in their rail investment. But the real investor coming in behind that for massive retail, commercial, and broader investment is Infratil and the private sector. So we have a role to play in encouraging the energy investment and the energy community into our region. But I don't see us as being the preeminent player or anything like it. We can just encourage and ensure the leverage of our assets, our land, ensure that the process is smooth as it can be, so that you can actually move on some of these projects.
And I guess
the third one, and you talked about this, Wammo, was the issue of solar energy.
Yes, well, and in particular, initiatives to get solar energy into the home. Yeah. Well,
in a broad or in a macro sense, the arguments for solar energy for massive input into the national grid is not really a sustainable one as yet. It's just not quite stacking up. But what does stack up is our ability to actually encourage local residents to take on solar energy to make themselves and their homes and their power needs sustainable. I think it's probably one of the strongest arguments for Think Global, Act Local, and each of our residents making a stand. You can also diminish your power requirements and needs by really taking advantage of the government's insulation package, housing insulation package. Not enough homes in the Auckland region have taken up that option, which would significantly impact on their power needs through winter. So solar energy and insulation are making your homes much more energy efficient and therefore sustainable and therefore lower impact on our energy requirements.
But can local government, like a Supercity council, have some kind of input rather than central government in actually creating initiatives, whether it be rates breaks or something along those lines, to actually get, as you say, insulation and other power sources into the home? Yes,
look, it's happening already. Our good friends in the Ego City in Waitakere actually have a very strong platform in and around solar and energy efficient homes, and so they offer they have programs, grants available for that. Each of us councils do it in a lesser extent, but not with the same passion and enthusiasm as Waitakere has done, and they can show a lead in that instance. But so local government is very much the leader in this area and does give central government a lead. But at the same time, when we're talking about the insulation packages, the central government's basically put the money up to allow that to really happen.
Okay, Len Brown, thanks very much for your time.
Great to talk to you, Wammo.
Cheers.
Okay,
See ya.
mate.
That is mayoral candidate for the Auckland Supercity, of course, current Mayor of Manukau City as well, Len Brown. And time now is 7:30.